Alrighty, we are at step 4, which is basically seating the bullets and doing a factory crimp die. So this is where you're going to want to use a caliper. Okay, this is one I got from Lowe's. It's digital, of course. The battery's dying, but that's okay. I know I can read the numbers on the grid here, so I can slide this back and forth. What I'm looking for, I want a what's called the OAL, the overall length for 9mm, and the 115 grain full metal jacket is really about 1.10 inches, with a max tolerance of 1. Well, for me, I'm doing a max of, let me check my load here, 1.169. So I don't really want it to go beyond 1.169 inches, but the way I've got, because I do so much, my dies are pretty much set to do pretty consistently. So what I do a lot of times is just take a factory loaded cartridge, and I'll put it in here just to give myself a good kind of litmus test to see where that is. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see that's about 1.14 maybe, and I'm looking for a max of 1.169, so I'm well within tolerance there. And oftentimes you'll find some interesting discrepancies between factory loaded ammunition. Like I just pull out some this is some PMC bronze, and some of them times they measure out different OALs, but they're always within those parameters. So what we're gonna do is, I've got my bullets out, okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just do 5 while we do this, got this together. And I'm going to go ahead and do the bullet seating, and I'm also going to do the factory crimp all together on these 5 rounds because, like I said, I'm kind of anal when it comes to this stuff. It's not required to do a factory crimp. From what I understand, but you know what? I like to be a pimp when it comes to this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the expanding die. Okay, take this guy out, and I'm going to get our seating die, which is this guy right here. There's our seating die. Okay, and again with the ram all the way up. And then you're going to want to screw this in until it touches, back off about 1/8 of a turn. I've already got these pre-configured with my bushing here. And then there's this lock nut, I use to tighten it down. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and back this just about here or so. So we have our bullet, right? And we put the bullet inside the case. So we've expanded the case. We got the powder in there. All I'm doing is putting the bullet, just sitting it right on top. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the shell holder here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and pull my ramrod, ram lever down, okay? Seats the bullet, and you don't want to force this. You should never have to force anything, because the last thing you want to do is mess up around by crimping it too tight or something. It's always easier to start out by loosening this, okay? And loosening it going counterclockwise so that you're raising the depth, because it's always easier to lower it and just keep going up and keep measuring it until the bullet depth is where you need it to be. If you go in too far and you crimp it, it's hard to pull it back out. You got to use a bullet puller and kind of start all over again. So take your time, go slow. It's not a race, right? So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out. And just make sure I'm within my scope here. So yeah, I could probably, God, sorry, it's hard to do this. So I'm actually going to go ahead and kind of bring this down just a little bit, so about that much. I'm going to go ahead and raise this again. Okay, so I'd like to bring that in just a little bit more to the 1.1 mark, and I'm a little bit closer, pretty close. I'm gonna actually go ahead and just do just a smidge down further. Okay, I think that's probably the sweet spot right there. Yeah. Yeah. That's about where I like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this, like I said, I'm always going from left to right, so I'm gonna put this in this tray over here. Take this bullet, kind of trying to do this so I can get it on camera. Okay. Like I said, once I kind of get into a groove, I probably measure every 5 or so. Do this quite a bit. Once you do a lot, you kind of get the hang of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish these off here. And one thing is that there's still a little bit of a lip right here. It's hard to see it. Maybe you can just a little bit at that angle. And what I'm talking about is that, see that little thickness right there? That factory crimp will smooth that out, and we'll see that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and finish up these other 2 rounds. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my seating die. Okay, take this guy out, and I'm going to use my factory crimp die, which almost looks similar to this, but it's different. So this is the seating die, and this is the crimp die. You can see the seating die has like this extra grip up here. It's a little thicker, but essentially they almost kind of look the same in some regards. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back in my tray. I try to make a habit of doing everything exactly the same when I'm reloading, so I get that consistency down. So I always put it back when I'm not using it. Put everything right back where it belongs. Same way with raising the ram all the way up. Screw this guy down, back off 1/8 of a turn, good to go. So now what we're going to do is take the first round from the right side here. Now this would be normally, I'm doing this just for the demonstration of the video. Normally I would have done all of these, gone from left to right, and then I would have slid the trays around and would have gone from left to right again with the crimping. So I always kind of know where I'm at with where I left off. In case I got to go take a leak or get a beer or answer the phone or whatever, I can come back and I know exactly where I was, what was going on. But for the sake of this video, I'm just doing these 5 right here, so we can see the factory crimp die. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you one more time a little bit that kind of lip right there, okay? And this takes care of that. So what I'm going to do is put this in here and go up, and you'll kind of hear it. Okay, what it did was it smoothed it out, so it's not so prominent. It's a little, I can feel it smoother. I'm gonna step around the camera here because I want to make sure that yeah, it feels a lot better. So yeah, there is a completely loaded up cartridge ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and crimp these off as well. Yeah, baby. Yeah, nice and smooth. So these are ready to load up and go to the range and have some fun. So there we have it. Oh, the other cartridge got away from me there. So these are ready to go, ready to be shot and yeah, have some fun with. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the 4-part series on this. I know it's kind of my first time doing this, so I didn't really know how many videos it would take. I wanted it all to make sense, but that's pretty much it. That's all it's to it. I know it seems kind of like a lot, but really it's all about a workflow, and once you kind of get a lot going on, I can crank some ammo out. A lot of times I'll go ahead and load up 200 rounds within an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm taking my time, measuring everything out. It's really not about a race or speed. It's just about consistency. If there's anything I can emphasize, it's consistency, and just double check your load recipes. There's plenty of resources online. There's a lot of reloading handbooks out there. to get you started. And just pay attention to what you're doing, and to practice some really good habits about how you do things in a batch process. So hope you enjoyed watching my Reloaded series on 9mm. I'm in the process of doing 223, so that will probably be my next reloading video series. So thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Urban Armed. Be safe. Take care.